consonants and vowels, the consequence of sounds, the consonants and vowels, the consequence of
Well, hello. Welcome to our live stream for June 11th, I believe it is. Yeah, that's what today is. I'm Sanatina, and this is Crafting Sound Meaning. So today, I thought we would have some fun and take a look at language games, sort of. So, I don't know if I'm strange in this regard or if the people on this channel are similar in my respect, but I think taking linguistic surveys are fun. Like, it's a game that I can't lose because at the end, right, all I do is get to know about me and, the people in the world and my community and all that stuff. And so for me, it's like, they're just super fun. Anyway, so language and science is, what we're going to be looking at a lot today. So first up, I wanted to show you this project that I signed up for at the recent LingCom conference. And it just started last week. And we have, right here, it's called Cog Sci DIY. Where is that page? There we go. Cogsci DIY. So here we have, you can see, basically, this is a real scientific project. Let's go check out their FAQ. Research project, basically. It is a real science project. And basically what this is a public organized science project. Yeah. And so we're going to log in today as a guest user. So if you don't want to sign up for this, and if you just want to check it out and follow along, you can come in as a guest user and check out what is happening in the poll. So this is in the second week. So the first week, the big question, we watched some videos on how science works, on what Cogsci DIY is, and then what their question was, what do we want to know about language, right? And so when that happened, a bunch of people started to talk about what they are interested in learning about. So there's forums in here. You can connect with other people, and it's all anonymous. So if you do sign up, when you come into the forums, you'll see here that the names are all kind of funny, sometimes linguistic terms, sometimes just random words. So yeah, because it's a scientific project, the participants are randomized or anonymized so that the scientists aren't kind of influenced by the people who are participating in it, by their demographic stuff. So it's a very interesting idea, or it's an interesting project, and I'm having fun doing it. We can check out the second week, which is what we're currently in, and see that based on the questions that they got from us last week, they narrowed them into 3 different areas of what the ultimate science project is going to be about. So right here, we got to vote on 3, and you can actually vote right now if you sign up this week and decide, would you want this project to be more about the dialects of English or second language learning, or do you want to know more about emoji? And you can learn more about science and language science. And of course, check out the threads in the forums. So I thought that was an interesting little, thing to share. Now, because of that site, they have, I showed you some resources they have around, language and science, other things. So I saw that they had a vocab test hosted by another university. So I thought it would be fun to maybe have a little, go through the vocab test in person live here with you and see about what the test is and how the you can see what my current level in English is, and you can participate with this on your own, or you can just follow and check out what I'm doing. All right, so let's see. All right, so I have already yes, I have already signed in and everything like that. So, because I've actually already done this one once, and but this one you can do multiple times. They actually say you should, or you can if you want to. So I thought it would be fun to see. Yesterday, I believe I got 86%. So let's see if today, my words, my English knowledge is up to snuff, as it were. Okay, so I'm gonna start the test now. They do test you on the speed of how quickly you guess it. So, I might go silent, but you'll see the, or I might actually, try and sound out the word. I'm like, is it actually a word? All right. So F and J. Okay. That is yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yep. 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 Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Mm-mm. Oh, that was, yeah. That is. Oh, that was one. It is interesting. I think it's harder to do this when I'm, feeling like I want to talk and comment while I'm doing it. The articulating elements of my language are trying to take over my recognition. Oh, that was not one. Some of these seem like it could be. That's why this is why it's such an interesting test, because some of these are very close to what you think, like that could be a real word. And actually they do say that if you find that they determined your answer incorrect because it is a word in a particular dialect, let them know, right? Because the non-words are created based on what words might not exist currently in English. But as we know, language changes all the time. So some of these might become words in the future. Some of these were not words 100 years ago. It looked like a scientific word. And that's another thing too, because it's like, do you know any, terms and all that stuff? So 80. Yeah. Yesterday I got 86. So I definitely got, I think I get, let me see. So, this is what's the funnest part of it. So yeah, you can see words I did not know. So these words are English. And I said these were not. And I knew some of these were after I accidentally pushed no, but like that's another thing with this. Non-words I spun yesterday. Yesterday I did 4. So that's interesting. I had 4 of these. So, well, also, yes, I did recognize some of the ones they gave me yesterday. So I was able to get away from that. Advart was one. Interesting. I did know a lot of words because I do know a lot of words. I have, always been interested in language, as you might have guessed from this little stream. So yeah, I had, and that's another reason why I also knew that all of these were not words, because in all of my reading, this melanation got me yesterday. I thought that was a word because it reminds me of, it feels like it could be some term related to bees or some kind of like scientific term. And the same thing for totemization, because when you create totemics or like, totems, it feels like that would be like a process. So I thought those two might be real words. I thought this might also be a word of for somebody who might be non-consensual with other people in sexual ways, but apparently it is not. So there's reasons that we start to think that a word might be legit or not, right? So that's one of the reasons why these studies are so interesting, because it reveals something about not only our language use, but others, right? How do others process language? How do others understand, how language works? Why would I think that melanation is a word, whereas most other people might not, right? And so that's another thing that these scientists might be studying. And so it's very interesting to see how the process, works and all that stuff. So the second word test I was going to is showing you is a word association test. Now I have not taken this one, and so I'm really excited because word associations are kind of weird and interesting. Word associations are supposed to be like unconscious connections that your brain makes between two ideas. And so it reveals stuff about yourself potentially. And it also reveals something about the culture that you live in, because these associations tend to happen over time, right? Like you associate, in Western culture, we associate women with housework and men with money because of the way our society is structured. So even though in my home, right, my dad did everything because we, largely grew up. It was, I grew up with my dad making dinner and, cleaning and, making sure that I cleaned and all that stuff. And then I didn't, but I still have the unconscious association that women and housework, men and money go together, right? So it's an interesting, word association studies are an interesting research project because it reveals something, again, about the individual and about the society that the individual lives in. So let's check out this study. Let me go ahead and here we go. All right. So as you can see, let me go ahead and read the instructions real quick. How it works: on the top of the screen, a word will appear. Enter the first word that comes to mind when reading this word. If you don't know this word, press unknown word. Press enter to add a second and third word, or press no more responses if you can't think of any. Some hints. only give association to the word on the top of the screen, not to your previous responses. Try to avoid full sentences as responses. Simply type a word and press enter to go to the next one. Okay, let us proceed. Oh. Yep. Oh. Let's commitment. Whew, that was actually really tough. Do I want to stay informed about the study? I think I would. To get enough words and make the mental, we need as many helping hands. takes 250,000 persons. So if you want to help, just share the study with family or friends, or come back some other time for new words. So this is another one you can redo. And I hope that was an interesting experience. So let me know what you thought of the tests and how you what the you think about the studies that we discussed today. There are many, like I said, going on right now. When you get done with one study, there tends to be a guide to another study, right? Once you get into taking these tests, it becomes a lot more relevant, and you could become aware of them in your life. It's very interesting. I really love that the taking these tests. Like I said, it's just interesting to me. So, along with the tests that I was having fun with this week, I think I mentioned I had another of my French lessons, and that was a great reminder of the power of minimal pairs. So I thought it would be interesting to show you how amazing it is that focusing on two sounds in a language can improve your comprehension of pretty much the entire language, right? So how does that work? Minimal pairs make you focus on two sounds that are similar in every way except one, right? For example, in English, we have th and v, right? Those two th sounds, th and v, they're made pretty much exactly the same way. Tongue position, lip position, nasal, non-nasal, all of that stuff. But the throat, the voice box is either vibrating, active, or inactive. The voice, that's what active was. I can't remember that. So yeah, the has a voiced sound, and is an unvoiced sound. So that's the only difference. And minimal pairs help with a language because it makes you focus on the really subtle nuances that exist in a language, right? Our ears are tuned to very small, very tiny nuances in our language. And the minimal pairs help us basically train our ear and brain, right, to pay attention to those nuances in a way that we didn't need to before, right? And that's the process of language learning. It really is about, putting our attention on new patterns. We have an established set of patterns for, the first languages that we ever spoke, but when we're learning new languages, we have to learn new rhythmic patterns, new tonal patterns, new articulation patterns, all of these things. So it kind of overwhelms our system and we just kind of shut down. So focusing on two sounds, that are only different in one way helps our brain focus. It helps our brain slow down and pay attention so that it can learn, one new rhythmic pattern or one new sound nuance before adding another one on. So the power of minimal pairs, right? Looks like the stream is being a little bit of a not as strong as it normally is. All right. Okay. So in my exercises, there were basically 3 minimal pairs that I was needing to focus on for my French exercises. And I would like to show them to you, except my ear is not working right now. No. And so these are all basically rounded vowels that have a nasal and non-nasal, right? So much like the th and v, one is voiced, one is unvoiced, right? For these 3 sets, or 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's 3 sets. I have to do one nasal and one non-nasal, and I can currently do them, but I can't switch between them as quickly as somebody who speaks this language every single day with people and constantly hears those, subtle nuances. So that's the exercise. So it's like, let's see, what is it? No, both of those are, so part of the thing about the nasal is controlling where the air is coming out, right? So with a nasal voice or a nasal sound, you're actually having air come out both your nose and your mouth, right? So your velar, the thing that closes in the back to make it so that it's an oral only voice, that's actually relaxed. And that's another reason why people often aren't able to make this sound, or English speakers, I'm speaking for myself, right, aren't often able to make this sound very easily, or this distinction, is because we think we want to close the oral, right, cavity to make all the air come through the nose. So we put our tongue way far back up into our mouth and like close off, air coming through our mouth. And that creates not a nasal. And I can't remember the name of that particular sound is right now, but it's different than a nasal, because nasal is both nose and mouth. So, ooh, ooh, ooh. So you're part of the way to practice this exercise is to put something in front of your nose, right? A tissue works just as well, but you can feel on your finger if you're breathing from your nose or not. So, and you can practice this before you're trying to make the sound, right? So, so I can tell if I'm letting air come through my nose or not. And that's the first part of the exercise, right? And this is something that my students, I want to remind you that you often tell me that how, boring these little exercises are. And I have to remind you that I also think that they are boring and frustrating, and breaking it down into the most minute parts of how language works. It's not necessarily the funnest part of learning language, right? But it is an essential part. And those of us who teach language and also learn language do these things just as much as we tell you need to, right? Or we don't, and we don't get better. And so, we share that very much. What was I going to say? Oh, when your brain goes blank, right? So minimal pairs are a great exercise, and training your muscles is it's a much like exercise in general. It's frustrating, but it's okay. It looks like I'm going to have to say goodbye for the day, but it was great hanging out with you, and I hope to see you in the next session. Let me know what you're interested in talking about, and I will maybe answer your questions, or, create a little segment on your interest level. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you